Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Saba Show. Today we've got round 22 of the Dice Footy Championships. It is incredibly tight around the top 8 or, those final couple of places. I believe 3 teams are safe. The Bulldogs, the Power, and the Eagles. But there is a lot of spots up for grabs and not enough teams to make those spots up. So every game is important. You need to win, and you need to rack up some good percentage, especially those teams on the outside of the top 8 which are lacking it. So there you have it. These were the results from last week. Some big wins in there, some big games that teams didn't take the opportunity for, I guess you could say. But obviously those teams need to do better this week. If you enjoy this one, drop a like and subscribe. This is a weekly thing every Thursday at 4 p.m, so tune in for that. We've got the finals race up and coming in the next couple of weeks, so be there for that. Anyway, let's get into it. Alrighty, first game of the round, and this is absolutely huge for the Saints. If they lose this one, I reckon it's curtains for their season. The Lions have been slipping as of, recently, and they are by no means safe. However, a win would go a long way into securing those finals hopes, or finals chances. The Saints haven't really had a good, first half, been pretty inaccurate. The Lions haven't really done any better in that department. They do lead by a couple of goals. The Saints need to pick up the pace in this third quarter, and they do that to an extent. The Lions, well, they could potentially be throwing this game away, and the Saints could make the finals race even more interesting going into the final week. However, that last quarter is just abysmal, and they could have sealed the game right there. However, they've just choked it at the final hurdle, and Brisbane will be picking up 4 points, and I reckon this is season over for St Kilda. Next game coming up, it is the Bulldogs taking on the Giants, and the Bulldogs, well, they've got to be extremely careful because the Eagles, could potentially finish top of the ladder if results don't go their way. The Giants, well, they've started pretty well here, I have to say. The Bulldogs, they do, rectify that first quarter issue they had. The Giants' second quarter is pretty poor. Yeah, they are a bit behind the pace. And the Bulldogs, well, third quarter isn't quite as good as the second. Not a lot of scoring shots involved there. And, well, the Giants are right back in this game. And it makes it very interesting. A grandstand finish, you could say. And, while the Bulldogs may have very much choked this game, the Giants do not need to do much. 2 goals, 3 will get the job done. However, they couldn't even do that. That just sums up their season for you. And the Bulldogs get another win. There's also an element of pressure for North to get the victory here. They also don't exactly have a lot of cushioning behind them. They need to get this win and solidify their chances of making finals. And, well, I've just done this in reverse. I don't know why I did that. But North will be kicking us off with a good score. There you have it. Second quarter by the Crows is pretty much the same as the first. Pretty mid. And North, well, they could have put them away in the second quarter and probably, won the game from there. But it is anyone's game to win. However, the Crows are playing like a bottom place side. And as we've seen many times this year, they usually tend to gift wins on the platter, for their opponents. So right now it is positioned to look that way, and North will be getting the victory. Another anticlimactic game. North, they could kick any score, but that percentage is incredibly valuable. They win this one by 6 goals, and the Crows, well, their season is just shit. So Geelong threw off a team season last week against the Saints, and this week, well, let's see if they can do the exact same thing against the Suns, who, are vying for a top 4 spot. The Cats do lead at quarter time. They actually haven't been awful in the back half of the year. They started incredibly slowly. They reached rock bottom. Finished or were in 18th place, and they've sort of ascended a little bit in the last few weeks. They do trail at halftime after a pretty poor second quarter, and it looks like the Suns are very well positioned to win this game. I mean, 29 scoring shots in 3 quarters is just ballistic. So the Cats score 8 goals, 13 in 3 quarters. Game is not over, but now it is. They needed to, have a pretty solid defensive performance in the last there, but, it did not come to fruition, and it will be the Gold Coast Suns winning as expected. All right, so we've got a game that is probably the second in the round to have implications for both sides. The Blues need to win. They are, percentage and half a game outside the top 8, so they need to win this game, and they've started incredibly well. The D's just need to win this one if they want to make top 4 and get that double chance. And there's big games for both sides next week, so they'll need to pick up the points here and not leave anything to waste. Second quarter by the Blues is pretty good. They do lead at the half by 2 goals or just under that, and the third quarter by the D's is exceptional. And the Blues, well, they're going to need to they're going to need to pull a pretty big score in this this second half in order to seal the victory. It is a close game. It has been neck and neck pretty much the entirety of the way, and it looks like the D's will not be getting the win. I mean, I could have just jinxed it for Carlton, and I have done not that. The Blues have kicked 20 goals, 13. They just keep winning, and they are right back in the finals picture. They win by 5 goals. We've got the Western Derby here, and it is Fremantle taking on the Eagles. Now, with that Carlton result, that just emphasises the importance for Fremantle to, pick up the victory. The Eagles, well, they need, they need to get moving. Obviously, the Bulldogs won, so if they want any chance of, sealing the minor premiership, they're going to probably have to get the win here. If not, it's pretty much game over in that regard. And at the moment, it is not looking very optimistic for them. However, the Dockers and their inaccuracy could come back to haunt them. Eagles, good third quarter by them, and they are right back in this game. It is only a 4-point game, and well, the Dockers, I mean, this is ridiculous. They've kicked 23 behinds in this game, and the Eagles, well, they can seal it with a big score, and I don't believe they've done that. So Fremantle, even though they kicked inaccurately, weren't, they didn't come to pay the price, and they will be picking up the win by about 9 points. Alright, so this one's a dead rubber. Doesn't really matter who wins this game. Richmond V Hawthorne. Obviously, that last game had some huge implications for Fremantle. They could potentially have sealed their, finals hopes there and then. This game is just a consolation game. Richmond at the moment, haven't had a really bad first half. You'd take that, given you're the 17th place side in the league. You need to possibly get the confidence up just a little bit because it's been running dry all year long at the moment. Their chances of winning this game look alright. Hawks were winning at the half though, and they will be leading at 3-quarter time as well. And the last quarter, let's see what there is to offer. And Richmond, well, they could potentially win this game. And the Hawks need 4 goals, 1 to tie. And, well, they'll be getting an excessive amount more than that. So they win this game by 2 goals to Richmond. Their season's just been garbage. And Hawthorn, they've got something to cheer about. Second last game of the round, it is Sydney taking on Collingwood, and these sides both desperately need a win. Obviously, one side will be getting the chocolates after this game. And, their chances of making finals, although they'll be slim, it's still there. The opportunity is still presenting itself. But a big win is going to be needed here. And at the moment, the Swans, they're in a very good position to do that. It looks like it's going to be a close game, though. Collingwood kicked 4 goals, 3 in that quarter. So, 2-point game. It is going to be incredibly tight unless, Sydney have a really good defensive third quarter, and then it probably rules it out. But nope. The Pies essentially match what the Swans did in that quarter. It's a 1-goal game. So, this is going to be a grandstand finish. And the Swans, I mean, they're just contributing to that even more. The Pies need 4 goals 2 to tie, 4 goals 3 to win, and the Pies will be getting the victory. So it looks like the Swan season is over and the Pies season remains alive. They win this one by an even 2 goals. Last game of the round, and I think Essendon's chances of making finals are mathematically over as well. It's been a very tight season, so, you know, even if you're in 13th place, you could still potentially make the 8 on, you know, on the back of a win. So, for Essendon, this is just a game where they can create an upset, and potentially, you know, put a spanner in the works for Port's season, in terms of making the top 4, but at the moment, it doesn't look like, they're going to be doing anything remotely close to that. At the moment, the Power do lead by 17 points, and it is looking promising for them. They've played very well defensively, have to say that. And the Power, well, they could have kicked away there. They could have, you know, gained a little bit of percentage and possibly gained on the Eagles a little bit. However, it doesn't look like that will be the case. At the moment, the last quarter by the Bombers, they end on 11 goals 11. It is not over for the Bombers. They can still create an upset. However, it is now over. And even though the Power didn't do that convincingly in any way, shape, or form, you would have, you know, expected a little bit more urgency from them. They still kick a winning score, so there you have it. Alright, and these are the results after round 22. You can see that there's probably only 10 teams remaining in contention for the top 8. Carlton and Collingwood are the 2 on the outside looking inward. Melbourne are probably the team at risk alongside Fremantle. Obviously, Fremantle lose and one of the teams on the outside win, they drop out. Melbourne also don't have the most favourable percentage. Carlton are the team with, you know, probably they're looking the most threatening of breaching the top 8. You can also see the top 4. You know, there's still a couple places up for grabs. North can still get in there. Gold Coast obviously need to win. It's dependent on that. The top spot is sewn up. The Bulldogs will be getting that. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Also Brisbane, they probably need to desperately win, because they could be, you know, dropping a number of spots in the top 8. Obviously, home or away, it doesn't really matter, because it's Dice Footy and anything happens. It's not based on realism, so, yeah. But it is going to be one heck of a final week. There are a lot of good matchups. I've had a look. There are some games that are really, really shaping up as bangers. So if you want to see that, make sure to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.